Imagine standing on a sun-baked battlefield, the air tense with anticipation. Suddenly, a thunderous rumble shakes the earth beneath your feet. Out of the dust and heat, enormous beasts, war elephants, loom into view, their armored sides glinting and their trunks raised in a deafening trumpeting cry. The sight is awe-inspiring, and for soldiers of the ancient world, nothing struck fear quite like the approach of these living tanks. Long before the advent of modern armored vehicles, war elephants reigned as the most formidable and visually terrifying force on the battlefield. These massive creatures, some weighing as much as 8 tons, were pressed into service by empires across Asia, the Middle East, and North Africa. Their presence was not just for show. In the chaos of battle, they could scatter enemy lines, break through fortifications, and leave a trail of devastation in their wake. The use of war elephants began in India, where the animals were native and revered for their strength and intelligence. Early Indian kingdoms recognized their potential as tools of war and developed specialized tactics for deploying them in combat. These elephants were often equipped with armor plating and sometimes mounted with archers or javelin throwers. The sight of a charging elephant, its tusks tipped with iron and bearing a squad of skilled warriors on its back, was often enough to send less disciplined troops fleeing before the real fight even began. From India, the practice spread westward. Persian kings, always eager to adopt new military innovations, began to incorporate elephants into their armies. They quickly understood the psychological edge these creatures could bring. The great Achaemenid Empire, for instance, used elephants to guard the flanks of their infantry and to intimidate rival forces. The spectacle of these animals, looming above the heads of even the tallest men, lent a sense of invincibility to the armies that led them. But perhaps no figure in history is more closely associated with war elephants than Alexander the Great. During his conquests in the East, Alexander first encountered elephants at the Battle of Gaugamela, where Darius III of Persia unleashed them against the Macedonian phalanx. The elephants were not enough to turn the tide, but their impact on the Greeks was profound. Later, as Alexander marched farther into India, he faced armies with even larger numbers of elephants, culminating in the legendary Battle of the Hydaspes River. There, King Porus deployed more than 200 elephants in a thunderous charge. Although Alexander's tactics ultimately prevailed, the battle cemented the elephant's reputation as the ancient world's ultimate war machine. The allure of these battlefield behemoths soon reached the Mediterranean. In North Africa, the Carthaginian Empire became legendary for its use of elephants, particularly during the Punic Wars against Rome. The most famous Carthaginian general, Hannibal, led his army, including a contingent of elephants, on an audacious march across the Alps to invade Italy. The spectacle of elephants crossing mountains, braving snow and ice, has captivated imaginations for centuries. Even though many of the animals perished in the harsh conditions, those that survived became central to Hannibal's battle strategies, sowing terror among Roman ranks. But what made elephants such effective weapons of war? For one, their sheer size and strength allowed them to trample infantry, crush enemy formation, and break through defensive lines that would have stopped cavalry or chariots. Horses, unfamiliar with the sight and scent of elephants, would often panic and bolt, rendering enemy cavalry useless. The chaos spread quickly. Infantrymen, seeing their cavalry in retreat and faced with an unstoppable wall of flesh and bone, often broke formation and fled. Elephants could also carry towers, howdahs, on their backs, from which archers or javelin throwers could rain missiles down upon the enemy, protected from ground-level attacks. Yet, for all their advantages, war elephants were not without their risks and limitations. Their intelligence and sensitivity, which made them admirable in peacetime, became a double-edged sword amid the noise and confusion of battle. While a well-trained elephant could be a disciplined and devastating force, an injured or frightened one could become uncontrollable. There are numerous accounts of elephants wounded by spears or arrows, turning in panic and rampaging through their own lines, trampling friend and foe alike. Commanders devised various methods to control their animals, including the use of spikes and chains, and some even stationed handlers with hammers and chisels to kill the elephants quickly if they ran amok. The unpredictable nature of elephants meant that deploying them was always a calculated risk. In some battles, such as the Battle of Zama in 202 BCE, Roman general Scipio Africanus found ways to neutralize Carthaginian elephants by opening ranks and creating corridors, allowing the animals to pass harmlessly through his lines. Roman soldiers would also use loud noises, fire, and even pigs set alight and sent squealing into the enemy's elephants to disrupt their advance. As tactics evolved, the effectiveness of elephants began to wane, and eventually they faded from the front lines of battle. Yet, the legacy of war elephants remains a fascinating testament to human ingenuity and the lengths to which ancient societies would go to gain an advantage in war. They were not merely tools of destruction, but symbols of power and prestige. To command an army with elephants was to project an image of might and wealth, a declaration that one's empire could master even the most fearsome beasts. So, were war elephants a genius tactic or a dangerous gamble? History suggests they were both, awe-inspiring and terrifying, powerful yet unpredictable. Their story is a reminder that even the greatest innovations come with their own set of risks, and that sometimes the most impressive weapons can also be the most difficult to control. What do you think? Were war elephants a masterstroke of ancient military strategy or a perilous roll of the dice? Leave your thoughts. And if stories of epic ancient war technology fascinate you, be sure to follow for more remarkable insights into the past.